Hey everybody. All right, so I decided to share something with you that is a personal thing of mine. So anybody that knows me and knows me well knows that I love coffee and I can't live without it. In fact, I just told someone, a friend of mine, the other day that if I'm expected to be pleasant, there needs to be coffee around, and it better be at my hands first thing in the morning, because otherwise it's not going to turn out well. So it is about 3 o'clock, and I normally don't drink coffee this late, but I'm working on a project for work, and I wanted to have a cup of coffee. So behind me over here is my regular coffee brewer that I brew every morning. But every now and then I like to have a pour over cup. And a pour over is a more scientific method of brewing coffee. It's a pure method. It involves a Chemex, just a glass blown carafe. You need to have a kettle. My kettle has a temperature gauge on the top so you can gauge the exact temperature of the water. You need to have some beans, some whole beans, and you also need to have a Burr grinder. You can just have a regular grinder, but Burr is preferable because it's a little bit more precise. And in order to do a pour over, you need to have your coffee grounds be coarse. They need to be ground in a coarse manner. So I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through this. Oh, you also need to have a scale. My scale is called, I think it's Acaia. Can't pronounce it. I'll put the link in the video. But it's just a regular kitchen scale. You can use it for other things too. And it measures out in grams and in ounces. So I'm going to measure out 500 ounces of water, and I'm going to bring that over here. So I'm gonna measure out 500 grams of water. And that's fine. I'm gonna set this on the stove. And if you can see on the top there, let's see if I can focus the camera. See on the top there, this red mark right here, that is actually where I want my temperature to be, in between 190 and 210 degrees. So I'm gonna boil this and allow it to get to that temperature, and then I can do my pour over. So while I'm waiting for my water to boil, I have measured out 30 grams of whole coffee beans. And I am going to grind these in my Burr grinder. You can buy these grinders anywhere. Mine came from Crate and Barrel. Kind of expensive, I have to say. You can get them very expensive. You can get them very inexpensive. You want this on a rough setting, and the rough setting for me is about 5 and whatever that is. And I'm gonna grind this down, grind my beans. All right, so I have a permanent filter here, but you also will see paper filters that are specifically made for Chemex pour over brewing. But I like the permanent filter just because it's easy to clean, and I don't have to waste a lot of money because these filters are not cheap. They come in 100 a box, and I want to say they're like $30 or $20 or something like that. All right, so I've measured out my beans. You can kind of see that they are coarsely ground. I'm gonna pour those in here. And you want it kind of evenly distributed. And I'm gonna tell you why in a minute once my water is ready. But you see how it's just kind of evenly distributed. All right, my water is exactly at 210 degrees. So I'm gonna bring this over. And now I'm going to pour around in a circular motion, and I'm only going to pour 80 grams worth of water. So let me do a little tear here. Hold on, I'm trying to do too many things. Okay, so I set the scale back to 0. So it now knows that I'm only measuring the water weight. All right, so I'm going to pour only 80 grams. I'm trying to like watch how I'm filming, hold my hand steady, and watch the grams of water that I'm pouring. So I'm doing a lot of things. I don't really want to touch the sides. All right, that's good enough. And I'm going to let this bloom for 45 seconds to a minute. And if you notice, I'm trying to get out of the shadow here, it is going to start to look fuller. You can kind of see where it's puffing up a little bit, and that is called a bloom. And you want your grounds to bloom for a little bit because it makes it a fuller coffee. It has been about 45 seconds now, and I'm going to pour the rest of the grams in a circular motion. Ideally, you want all of your water done within, I believe it's 4 minutes. Because anything after the 4 minutes is burned coffee. I'm still pouring in a circular motion, notice. So it's at 491, which is fine. That's because some of the water evaporated. And once this finishes dripping, I will have a great cup of coffee. It'll be full, it'll be actually a little sweet. It'll be the best cup of coffee, if you try it, you've ever had. I promise you, you won't want another cup of coffee any other way. But I will say, I don't do this every day because, as you can see, it's time consuming. And when I wake up, I really just want coffee. All right, so looks like I am done. All right, so I'm done with my coffee. I'm sitting here drinking, waiting for it to kick in so I can continue working. I hope you all try a pour over method and let me know what you think. Most coffee, if you go to their website, will tell you their brew guide, and you'll look for brew guide, and you will see pour over, and it will tell you the ratio that you need to measure your beans, how much water you need to use. So it's really dummy proof. I use counterculture and I used hologram, which I love because it's chocolatey, it's nutty. There's some other flavors in there that I don't really know. But I love counterculture. The last thing I'll say is I will share the scale has an app that comes with it, so you can measure out your beans. It will even like tell you when to do your bloom. It'll give you a little bell notification to tell you your bloom is over and do your first pour, to do your second pour. It will just walk you through the entire pour over process. It's actually pretty cool. And that's it. I hope you enjoy it. It was good seeing you. Have a good day.